going on, y'all? We are Jesse and Melissa with Adventure Endeavor, and as you can tell, it is very cold. You know, by my jacket.
It's not that bad.
You know what? Nobody asked what your thought was on the matter. We are filming this video inside our rig today, but we are going to be telling you all about how to find boondocking spots. This is a really popular topic. Free camping is very popular, especially in the last couple of years. So we wanted to give you instructions on how you can find your own free camping spots all over the country.
Yeah, there's been a huge influx of new RVers, so we figured we would show, new people and old people just how we find our spots. It's a little different from everybody else. I would imagine everybody's got their own methods. And that way everybody can know where they can camp legally, what amenities, if any, are at these boondocking spots, and just safety and all those different precautions to be aware of when you're out boondocking. So before we get too far into this video, we just want to state right from the beginning, up front, to be completely honest, we don't share boondocking spots. It's just something we feel passionately about. We like the idea of people learning how to find the locations themselves, because during that process you learn the rules and the regulations, and you know what you can do on the land, what you can't do, how long you can stay, all of that. And then on another hand, we tend to drag this giant trailer really far down, so you might see us at a cool spot and be like, oh, that's cool, I would like to go there. And if I just give you the coordinates, you're gonna be like, what the heck? You're gonna be dragging your rig through trees, you're gonna be scratching it, you're gonna be dragging the jacks. If you have a fifth wheel, it's going to be hitting the bed rails, all that kind of stuff. So those are just a couple reasons that we don't share spots, but we want to teach you how to find spots all on your own.
Yes, we have a lot of experience with off-roading and various forms of adventuring, so I think that's part of the reason why we don't give out some of the more extreme GPS coordinates. But also, we believe that finding a spot is half of the fun of dispersed camping. So we want to teach people to enjoy that process just as much as we do. And we are big proponents of the teach a person to fish mentality, which is you teach someone to fish and you'll feed them for the rest of their life, or they'll feed themselves for the rest of their life. Yes. But if you give them a fish,
they'll only be fed for that meal. We really butchered that, but
yeah, that was
it's
terrible,
all good.
But
you know
guys
what we mean. So realistically, the main resource that you're gonna find is campendium.com. They realistically, it's been a game changer. They just have it down. Basically, it's an app for iOS, or there's a website, and you can go and search a certain area, and then it's going to give you different things. You can set a price range. It actually has a small portion where you can see cell service to a certain extent, and it's great, and it's easy, and people leave reviews. So somebody might say, hey, I have a 30-foot motorhome and it was easy to get in. Somebody might say, I was in a Jeep, and that's all you can get in there.
Yeah, they'll report last price that they paid. Basically, like, there's an option to look at the cell service that you might have. It's a really great resource. They don't have an app for Android, but I do want to point out that we have Android phones and we have absolutely no problem using their website on our phone. It's very mobile friendly.
It's very easy to use.
Yeah.
There are a few other apps that we use. One that we look at occasionally is iOverlander, but we have found that one tends to be a lot smaller, tighter spots. I think, it's for overlanders, it's for very small travel trailers, possibly Jeeps and stuff like that, a little bit more four-wheel drive. And as well, freecampsites.net has some good spots, but both of them are not quite as descriptive as Campendium, so that's normally our go-to. And then, we go from there. We have a few more steps.
Okay, so the next step, once you've determined where you want to go and you pick your spot via Campendium, you want to do a search of what land agency manages that land.
So there's National Forest, there's BLM, and sometimes there's even state parks that have free dispersed camping. It's really an important idea to go to their actual website. Campendium, a lot of people leave reviews, but you don't want to hear it from somebody reviewing. You want to get the exact word from the National Forest in that area. Like, maybe when that person was there, it was a 10-day limit and now it's a 14-day limit, or vice versa. Maybe there's a fire ban in order. Maybe it's closed for seasonal purposes. So you don't want to just show up to that spot without knowing the exact details. Maybe there is a dump station that's free. We've encountered that. maybe there's a dumpster for your trash. Most of the time you have to haul out all of your trash. Just a lot of different things like that. And this is probably the most important step, is like do the research, because this unfortunately is why a lot of places are getting closed. People just go there, they don't know the exact rules, they assume that there might be a dumpster or a dump station, and then they just leave their trash, which is very, very sad. So do the work, do the research. It doesn't take that long to find a spot, and go from there.
A big part of the reason why you want to do this research in advance is because there might be something like a permit required that maybe the other campers that have been there before you didn't mention on Campendium. A lot of places have like a $10 or $15 permit fee annually, but you can camp in that spot otherwise for free. So it's just really important to know that before you go, and you will find that in your research if you look into it ahead of time. Another really important thing to note when you are going to a dispersed camping spot is to always camp at existing spots. Never run over brush or grasses to make a new spot. If there's an existing fire ring, that's usually a pretty good indication that you're allowed to camp there, although not always the case.
Yes, we've encountered that before, where you could obviously tell that the Forest Service wanted to close that, and people keep coming back and just using that fire ring. Look for trail markers, those little brown signs that will be in the ground that say like no camping beyond this point. Things like that are really important to preserve the land. The land's for everyone, and we want everyone to use it as well, but this way you can be informed and know the rules properly. Exactly.
We're just trying to encourage responsible recreation, because there are so many RVers and campers out there, especially in the last couple of years. With everything that's going on in the world, it's become a really, really popular way to, enjoy travel and explore with your family. So we just wanted to share this information for everybody to stay informed.
All right. So this is top secret that we're giving you guys right now. Did everybody leave that's not supposed to be here?
This is really, really...
I'm kidding. Nobody leave. You're supposed to be here.
Super secret.
All right. One of our next steps that we do is we head over to Google Maps. We put the coordinates in and we turn it on to satellite view. This is great for a lot of reasons. First off, you'll be able to see like turnouts that are used as camps. Look for fire rings. That's a great resource. You can see them on Google Maps. And then you're also going to want to look for hairpin turns, certain obstructions. Like lots of times you can see if trees are covering the road, then you know that like a 13, 14 foot fifth wheel might struggle to get into that spot, and you might want to look for spots that don't have those trees. And also you might want to look for turnaround spots, or spots where you can park and then hop out and scout. And that's kind of like a segue into our next part, is you might need to stop, park, disconnect your trailer potentially, or go for a jog or a walk to scout these spots, or hop on a bicycle or an e-bike is really popular for this. Those Class A guys with the Jeeps, they're kind of spoiled because it's really, really easy to disconnect the Jeep and go scout the location.
It's super nice.
But this is all very important, because the last thing you want to do is go up a road that is like too steep for your rig, too rutted, too loose, maybe too sandy, and have nowhere to turn around. Or just to find that, the trees are going to scratch your rig too much for your liking, or the overhead is too low. So Google Maps just kind of helps with some of that. And lots of times we'll drop pins being like, oh, potential low tree, or, camp 1 option, camp 2 option, option 3, in the order that we think will work the best for us. So this next step is kind of Melissa's expertise, so we're going to go ahead and let her handle this one.
Alright, so if you are a full-timer, or if you work on the road for any reason, cell service is one of your biggest concerns, am I right? So there are apps like, my favorite is Ookla and OpenSignal. There is also the Coverage app that was created by Chris and Cherie from Technomadia, fellow escaper friends. And Campendium also, like I said earlier, lists some average bars, which if you're a true full-timer, you know that bars don't mean anything. But it'll tell you, in the reviews, and whether a cell signal was reported for a particular carrier in that area. And then when you get to that area, you're always going to want to run a speed test to see if the speeds are fast enough for you to work or do whatever you need to do. Of the utmost importance for me,
yeah,
we can't camp in an area that doesn't have cell service. But a really handy feature on the Android version of the Ookla app, there is down in the tools section, you can pull up a map that basically shows you an overlay of where cell signal has been reported. OpenSignal has a version of this. I'm not as crazy about it as Ookla, but pretty much any cell service mapping app will have some variation of this. So really important to look at that when you're scouting ahead, planning ahead for your next boondocking spot.
Yes, and another tip to add to that is when you are scouting your spot, if you get on your e-bike or you're walking or you're hiking or you're in your Jeep or you're driving in your pickup truck, bring devices with you if possible. So we have our phones, they're T-Mobile, so we bring our phones. We also have an old spare phone, but we'll throw a SIM card in there like a Verizon, and we have all three carriers, so we try to bring all three devices because you would be very surprised. You could camp in one spot and you could have great service and literally be slightly around the corner or a tree obstructing something and be horrible service. So we like to check each spot individually, and that way if you're working or you just really need internet for whatever reason, you know you're gonna have the best option in that area. Last but definitely not least is always have a backup option. So we tend to have two backup options. First, we'll have another boondocking area option that is out of your original area, because let's say the cell service is no good or last minute they closed the forest for some reason or whatever. And then we also will have like a Walmart as a backup option. We don't like doing that, but it's just always nice to know, oh, if this doesn't work out, we could stay one night here and then the next day we can go to this other place. There's been various times when just random stuff comes up. So always have one, if not two, backup options.
Yeah, you never know what could happen. You know, this is public land and literally anything can happen. Maybe it rained recently and the road is just too muddy to get into, or I don't know.
A tree fell and blocked the road. A lot of this stuff actually does happen, so have your backup options.
Well, y'all, we hope that you enjoyed this video and you learned something new about how to find your own boondocking spots in the future. We really hope that you take this advice and get out there, out of your comfort zone. And if you're new to boondocking and trying to figure it out for the first time, don't be scared. Just go try it.
Yeah, we actually have another video on boondocking as well as tips as far as conserving water and everything like that. So we'll link that. But yeah, if you follow these tips, I think you'll be set up quite well. Especially that Google Maps aerial images. That's like one of my favorite. But like always, guys, we really appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Happy trails!